Fiona Shaw, you're looking very, very well.
Thank you very much.
On good form.
I'm in very good form because on my holidays.
And can we please unfold the arms?
Oh.
Because it looks a little bit defensive.
Yes, it is. You're right.
I'm not a dentist.
No, you're not a dentist.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with being
No.
a dentist. I would just like to point out before we begin, those are pretty cool yellow shoes.
I got them in Amsterdam. I got two pairs, one in white and one in yellow, and the yellow ones are bigger than the white ones, but I couldn't resist them, and they're really nice.
They're sort of Fiona Shaw clogs.
I wear them with evening dress sometimes, and they just a flash of yellow underneath a long dress, but they're very useful because they can incredibly comfortable. I'm glad they're not in wood.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you prepared?
On your marks, get
Okay.
set.
Well, you've got to count us down, please. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. 3.
3, 2, 1, go.
You're a great believer in the power of words.
I'm a great believer in the fact that I make my living from words. I'm very grateful to words. Yeah. When I was at school, the teachers used to say that I talked too much, and I did, and I still do. It's fine. I make my living from talking too much.
You were known as Fifi at school.
Fifi Wilson was my name, yes, and still is my name when I'm in Ireland. And when I went to RADA, they insisted that I revert to Fiona, because they felt that otherwise I wouldn't have any kind of serious career. But I'm still called Fifi or Fief by my friends.
And why no longer Wilson?
Because there was another Fiona Wilson in Equity at the time, and so I had to change it. So I picked Shaw, who was the great benefactor of RADA at the time, and my grandmother was a Shaw. So I just did that once overnight and changed Fiona Shaw.
And in Ireland, you were brought up by nuns until the age of 9?
Well, I was brought up by my parents, happily, but I did go daily to a convent until I was about 8 or 9, and then I was taken to a lay school, which in Ireland is much more unusual than the other way around.
Can we go back to words quickly?
Yes.
You are brilliant at learning lots and lots and lots of words. You've recited The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot in its entirety.
I have, and I've done it very many times, actually, and I could do it for you now, but it would take up more than 5 minutes. It would take 38 minutes, actually, to do, and it's 647 lines or something, but it's a fantastic thing to have learnt.
How do you actually go about learning it?
Well, in that instance, actually, we were asked to do it for a festival in Brussels. So we took a house rather than a rehearsal room, and I began to rehearse every day little sections of the poem in different rooms of the house. So I began to associate the poem with little domestic realities rather than with anything epic. And so everybody in the poem who speaks, and they're all voices, are people I know.
You starred in London Assurance with Simon Russell Bill. Did you have a lot of fun doing that?
A fantastic time. I mean, it's great fun to have maybe two actors who normally do big classical roles to do big classical funny roles, because you're freed from the kind of constraints of very, very good language or the harnessing of incredibly dexterous, difficult thinking or elaborate thinking. And suddenly you're just trying to make nonsense funny. And by doing that, it's just the same rules in a way, clarity and a kind of playfulness. And in my case, I mean, I think I act as if the wheels are going to come off at any moment, and that really suited London Assurance.
How important is the chemistry between actors for the strength of a performance?
It's very hard, you can't be sure there's chemistry, and I think it gets very sentimental if you start saying there's great chemistry between us. So Simon and I never discussed chemistry, but I think trust is a huge thing. So if I did something peculiar on an evening, he would sort of slightly raise an eyebrow and laugh, and caused me often to laugh. And I also worked with Jonathan Cake when I did Medea, and the real trust there was, he was Jason, I was Medea, we had a huge fight, and he used to have to put my head under water to sort of drown me near the end, and he used to keep me there for a good 10 or 15 seconds. And that really is trust.
Emotional intensity, you bring lots of it to your work. What's the key to that?
Well, I think the point of the theatre is that it's got to upstage having a great chat with a good friend, and not much upstages that. So I'm not there to bore anybody. I really think if you're not going to have dinner, I've got to give you an exciting evening. So I think the point of the theatre is that it must deal with the realm of life that is slightly outside the pendulum swing of ordinary, domestic, interesting, gossip, relationship life. It's got to go really into somewhere exciting to make people think, yes, I need to watch that to learn something about people.
Are you emotional in everyday life?
I'm not I'm not neurotic, I think, as a temperament, in the sense that you might think I might lie on a sofa and weep a lot. I don't think I am, but I think I am excitable, and my mother is. I've got that from my mother.
What's the hardest emotion to portray on stage?
An emotion you should never portray on stage is boredom. If you portray boredom, you'll make the audience bored. And I played Hedda Gabler some years ago, and of course she famously says she is bored. But I played boredom through somebody who was terribly anxious and kept moving the furniture around, so her boredom came out as sort of acts of intensity. The hardest emotion, grief is pretty hard, but grief is a very valuable emotion, actually.
We're running out of time. Richard II. What was
Yes.
it like playing a man? Very quickly, please.
I didn't really approach it as playing a man. I approached it as playing a god. And I was able to play a god because they're like goddesses, I think. So he's more of a half man.
Very famous as a classical actress, but also the Harry Potter films.
Yes.
And Three Men and a Little Lady.
Yes.
Do you like film as much as theatre?
I like being funny as much as being in serious things, yes.
Oh, we're off. It's over. It didn't ring very much, but it's all over. It was so nice to see you.
It's very quick, isn't
It
it?
was quite quick, but we packed quite a lot in.
I think we did. Well done, my goodness.
Very nice
Yes.
to see you.
Very nice to be here. That's incredible.